Happy Friday, everyone. Corinne from Mama's Little Lambs. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a flip through. I've had a lot of people request this, and so I thought I would share it with you, and I'll be back to let you know what it is. Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited this morning to share this flip through with you. I've had several people request this, and so I thought I would share this. I know that right now it's not in stock. It's out of stock, but it should be back in soon. But it is a level 5 reader, and it's by The Good and the Beautiful. It's Nature Reader, Insects, and Arachnids. And it is a really awesome reader. I'm really excited that I got it. I pre-ordered it, and I think if you order it before the 26th of August, you got like 20% off. So it was a great deal, but it is really good. And so many people have asked about it, and I had posted that I had received it in the mail, and they asked if I would do a flip through, and I said absolutely. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be talking about 4 different insects and arachnids. So I will go through each one of those, but first I want to read you something. It says that Nature Reader, insects and arachnids include 4 stories that each follow an insect or arachnid through its entire life cycle. From the moment they hatch to their final days, come along as a carnivorous glowworm hunts for a meal through underground tunnels, a garden spider rides through the wind on a homespun parachute, a honeybee learns how to use her tongue to make honey, and a monarch butterfly finds her way to the winter's home of her ancestors thousands of miles away. This is a delightful reader. One is reminded that even the smallest of God's creations is worthy of one's time and consideration. There is beauty and amazement all around, and this reader will help one learn where to find it. So the 4 cards I have down, I have a Firefly card because we're going to learn about the Firefly. We're also going to talk about the garden spider. The next one will be the honeybee, and the last one will be the monarch. And just in case somebody asked, because I had showed these cards and they said, where did you get these to match the book? These are from Professor Noggin's game on insects and arachnids, so that's where I got these cards. I do have some other ones, several other cards that I have, but these are the ones I chose to use because I really liked the illustrations of each one of these, so I thought these were pretty cool. So I chose these, and I think that you'll agree they're very pretty and colorful. So those are the ones I chose. But without further delay, let's get started in the reader. So once again, this is by The Good and the Beautiful. It is a new release, so I'm so excited to share this with you. It's so fantastic. The contents, it's Firefly, Garden Spider, Honeybee, Monarch Butterfly. So it's going to take you through their journey through life and from their life cycle. And so the first one we're going to talk about is the Firefly. And this is by Paul McCutcheon Sears, illustrated by Glenn Rounds. So, and this book was originally published in 1956. So, which I was kind of amazed at that because I have never seen this before, so it was interesting. But this is the foreword. It kind of talks to you about the fireflies, and it gives you lots of great information about the firefly. And then it starts out on the night falls on the meadow, and it takes you through the journey of this firefly. So I'm just going to flip through, show you the illustrations just below the ground. It's got some neat pictures. Talks about the glowworm's small legs could hardly drag the long body through the twists and turns and low places in the tunnel. She goes through very many tunnels. The glowworm and the meat eater. Some more illustrated pictures. A shelter of mud. Whoops, I don't want to miss any pages. And this is taking you through the pupa and the strange soft creature looking something like a beetle. It was yellowish white, changing to a firefly. It was a firefly. Dance of the signal lights. It's got all the fireflies and they're lighting up, and the little one is watching down below, trickling the yellow flashers. One thing I have to be careful with my son is that this one firefly gets trapped in the spider web, and she comes up and she goes through and she gets this. What happened was the spider had bit the firefly, and it was caught in the webs, and it was getting weak from the poison, and the other the glowworm comes in, the firefly, now developing into a firefly, comes in and eats the one trapped in the spider web. So I had to be kind of careful with my son on that. So, and then that ends that story. Then the next one we're going to go into is The Garden Spider by Mary Adrian. And this is the foreword on it. Then it talks about 500 eggs. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine all those eggs? And it just goes through, has some nice illustrations. It takes you through. You can see the spider inside the flower. It just keeps going through, and it shows you how it's building its web. It talks about pearls with legs. It talks about their own parachutes. And they do look like parachutes as you see them coming down. The little spiders all shooting down. They look, when the breeze blows and it blows the spiders all over the town, they look like little parachutes. And this is pretty neat with the web and the spider around and around and zigzag. It talks how she does her web. This is kind of a neat design that goes through the web. Spider is very busy. The garden spider is very, very busy. And it talks about how hungry she's getting. So she's in search of food. New skin for old. The web thief. The hummingbird comes along and says this would be perfect to make a nest. So she starts to rob the web that the spider has been so busy creating. So there's just some really great illustrations. I liked this one. And this talks about the mate, where the male will meet the female in the web. And this one is talking about the bumbling bumblebee. And it talks about the bumblebee coming up and getting caught in the web, and the spider stinging with poisonous into the bumblebee. And it says 500 eggs again. And it shows, isn't that kind of a neat picture, how it hangs down? And it kind of looks like a little parachute. And then it says, one day next spring, tiny garden spiders will leave the nest and spin their webs and lay their eggs. And it will be the same story as this all over again. And that's the end of that one. And now we cycle into The Honeybee, which is by Mary Adrian too. And we're going to see, it's got the forward in here. It talks about the queen lays an egg. Shows you how they're starting to do the honeycomb, how they're building, and so busy at work and getting everything so perfect in line. Awake and hungry. The nurse bee. Of course, we need nurses to take care of us. Play and danger. Shows all the bees coming around. How they fly so fast. How they catch the different ones. Suddenly, a dragonfly drops from the sky into the dancing bees. He scooped up one of them in his 6 legs, which he held together like a basket. Off he flew, eating the bee. Shows how their tongue and what they do and how they can make honey with their tongues and how they learn to do that. Making wax. So busy working. Faster than electric fans. Oh my gracious. And it just goes through their story. The round dance. The gold dust. The gold dust is when they spring out of the the nest, the hive. They're searching for more nectar. And off they fly, flying by the sun. Wagging dance, that's an interesting thing to read about and know. Swarming holiday. Millions and millions of them, just thousands. It says honeybees darted into the air among thousands and thousands of other bees, circling above the hive. The sunlight danced on their lacy wings and black and yellow bodies. Battle of the queens. Mating fight. Shows them busy. And I believe this is the end of this. Yes. Next, we move on to the monarch. The beautiful monarch butterfly. It's got the forward. Talks about the spring flight north. The rain coming down. Beautiful butterfly. Shows them coming in. They're all coming in, landing on flowers. And with the bees and the ladybugs and the dragonflies and the crickets. Tender leaves and tiny eggs. She starts to lay her eggs. And she leaves and she can see all the little ants. Everything is so busy. Caterpillars' first days. It shows you the life cycle, how they're growing, getting bigger. Little bloofer. And they're all just busy eating the leaves. You can tell all the different insects that are around also. Here comes up the caterpillar. She's crawling up. The little acrobat learns to hang upside down. Starts to spin. The new monarch. You can see it coming out as it goes through the different phases. And out comes the most beautiful monarch butterfly. Pockets of perfume. She loves the smell of the flowers. And the monarch and the hummingbird, they share. And then comes the whoops, let me not skip a page. Fall flight south. Now remember when we started, they were flying north. Now they are flying out. Other companions of monarch butterflies join them farther on. More companies join in until there were thousands and thousands of monarch butterflies all flying together very high, making an orange and brown cloud in the sky. Last fall, Monarch's grandmother had flown south in a great cloud like this, but Monarchs had never been south, nor had any of these butterflies who were with her, yet they all knew their way. Isn't it funny how if we follow the leader, like our Jesus, we'll never be lost? She had done this trip many times, but they were new to this. Shows them all in the trees. They flew straight towards the pine tree that monarchs came to every fall. These trees were their winter hotels. It's pretty neat. On cold days, the monarchs stayed huddled with others in the pine trees. When spring came, every one of them left for the north, but each butterfly traveled alone. So, as her mother had done the spring before, monarchs winged her way northward. She would not live to fly all the way north, for she was already nearly 8 months old. But old as she was, Monarch began the journey, her orange and brown wings flashing in the sunlight. How to raise a monarch butterfly. And it just says, after your butterfly wings are dry, which takes about 3 hours, let it walk onto your finger and take it off from there. Let it be free to fly away hundreds and hundreds of miles and live the life you read about in this book. So this is the inside and the flip through of the Nature Reader. My opinion, it had 4 beautiful stories that told the life cycles of each one, their journey. There were sad parts. Of course, we have to remember that this is nature, and there is, within that life cycle, they have hardship and they have hard times like we do, and we face them, but they kept journeying onward and they never gave up, and they continued on their journey, And God made each one of them to have a special quality and the ability to do certain things. And they're all individually amazing, and the stories were great. So I really enjoyed this book. I'm excited to use it with my son. He is excited. He loves insects, and he loves, just butterflies, anything. He loves all things outside nature, bugs, frogs, turtles, so anything. So this will be an exciting read for him. So I hope you've enjoyed this flip through. If I missed anything and you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you like this, give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit my subscribe button, click the notification bell so you know when I'm doing another one. And thank you for coming along on this journey. May God richly bless you on this Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. God bless and be safe. Bye-bye.